Hello and welcome to the first ever video here on the 11am Sports channel. The FM21 beta came out a few days ago and I'm about to start a game. Let's get into it. So here we are, FM21 beta's out now and I'm going to start a little beta save with the team that I support, which is Kilmarnock Football Club. For anyone who doesn't know about Kilmarnock Football Club, they are a team based in Scotland, the west coast of Scotland, the Scottish Premiership they're in. We finished third place a couple of seasons ago. We're not one of the top teams in the country, but finished third place thanks to Stevie Clarke, who's now taken Scotland to the Euros for the first time. I'm sure everyone's looking forward to that. Since then, we had a wee bit of a downturn in fortunes, not doing hugely well last season, but here we are. My aim is to try and disrupt this that you see on the right-hand side of the page, the past winners of the Scottish Premiership. As we can see, Celtic have had a bit of a domination since Rangers dropped out of the league, and the Rangers have now come back up, finishing runners-up the last two seasons. You see Kilmarnock's third place just hiding in there, just in the 2018-2019 season. But yeah, Celtic have had a bit of a domination. So Kilmarnock have actually won the league before. You'll have to scroll quite a long way down this list to find it. There we go. 1965, we won the league. We had a bit of a period of good spell for a good period in the 60s. You can see there were several second places before eventually we got across the line and won that sole title that we've had as Kilmarnock Football Club in 1965. But yes, as you can see, a bit of a downturn in fortunes. We finished 8th last year, having finished 3rd the season before and 5th the season before that, both under Stevie Clarke. Alex Dye's doing a pretty good job, I must say, in real life, I think. But I'm sure there's something that we could do better, and during this beta we're going to try and get Kilmarnock to win this Scottish Premiership. That's going to be tough. The two Old Firm teams are certainly a lot better than most of the others in the league, I should say. But you never know. We might do it. We might, fingers crossed. There's a possibility that we're going to be able to get that. So what we'll just do now is jump onto the team and we can see who we've got, what we're playing with, and see if this team's actually capable of getting into third place. See you there. I realised that I just said capable of getting into third place. Third place is the aim for this season, certainly, but obviously we want to try and win the league eventually further down the line. So this is the squad that Kilmarnock have at the moment. It's in here trying to work out if there's anyone that we actually don't have in the first squad who should be in the first squad. We've got Jake Eastwood here, who's on loan from Sheffield United, who could be in the first squad. I think he was meant to be our first choice goalkeeper, but he ended up actually getting injured in the first game of the season, and Danny Rogers has since taken over, who's done a fairly solid job for us in goal so far in real life. But just looking at his statistics here, again, nothing to write home about because we are Kilmarnock. It's not like he's going to be a world-class goalkeeper, but fairly solid. You can see 2.5-star current ability, fairly solid for us here at Kilmarnock, that level. They say he's a fringe player, but really we've lost a good goalkeeper over the past couple of years, and Jamie McDonald and then Daniel Bachman. We had questionable goalkeepers last year, but we should be solid enough to win. If we can get anyone in, great, but at the moment, looking at the squad, I'm not sure we'll be able to. Spoilers for what's coming up later. Kilmarnock don't have a lot of money, if any at all, in this game. I've not even checked yet. But in real life, we don't have a lot of money, so I don't imagine we'll be bringing many players in. At right back, you've got Ross Millen, who's actually one of the coaches at the club's son, a 3-star player here. They describe him as a regular starter in the game. We'll see how true that is. And his competition at right back is Aaron McGowan, who spent a couple of years there at Hamilton, was very solid, I thought, at Hamilton. Has come across, hasn't really shown anything in real life, but as I say, this is Football Manager, not necessarily real life, so we can't take that too much to be true to real life. Possibly, it might be very good here in the game comparatively. At left back, we obviously lost Greg Taylor last season. He moved to Celtic, and obviously the Scotland left back and Celtic left back. But we've got, I think, an adequate replacement in Callum Waters, who's been at the club, for quite a wee while now. We got him on a free transfer there, and he's been a solid back. He's been on loan in past seasons, but he's played fairly well so far this year. And we've also brought in some competition here in Brandon Hornstrup, who was previously in Portsmouth and apparently was fairly well liked in Portsmouth before he came up to Kilmarnock. So that could be interesting to see that competition at the left back slot. At centre back, a standout player I would say possibly for Kilmarnock here is Stuart Finlay. Very, very solid centre back, especially for this level. Value at 2.1 million here. When you compare that to the rest of the values of other players, it's not surprising to see that he's valued at so much better. We got him initially on loan a long time ago now, actually, 15-16 season from Celtic. He then went to Newcastle on a free, where we then loaned him again, and then we signed him on a free after that, and he's been very solid for us ever since. So he's definitely going to be there at the back. In real life, Kirk Broadfoot plays alongside him. As you can see, Kirk Broadfoot's 35 years of age. His physicals will say are to be desired, with acceleration of 4 and pace of 4. Maybe not ideal at centre back. We have side Clever Dickamona as well, who seems a bit more rounded. But again, 30 years old, not exactly blowing the world away. And on loan from Bournemouth is this young boy, Zenon Ibsen Rossi. He's English, but a surname like Rossi I didn't think he was. I thought he was Italian, but hey, he's English there. Possibly a young partner to partner Finlay for a little while at the back there. In the midfield, I feel we're fairly strong. We're fairly experienced, and that's a kind way of saying old, but fairly experienced in the midfield. Gary Dicker here, 33 years of age, but no nonsense centre mid, or he can play defensive mid. He normally sits there. He's been at the club for quite a while now, and he's been very solid. Club captain, sits there in the defensive midfield role, no nonsense, but also very good on the ball when he has to. He's normally partnered by his Irish compatriot, Alan Power, who you can see here is actually rated 4.5 stars, which is an excellent rating for the senior team according to this. He's a star player. He is, however, in his prime years, as you can see, 32 years of age as well. But again, him and Dicker have been a kind of solid central midfield partnership for quite a few years at Killie now. Yusuf Malumbu, again, here, 33 years of age. Very high quality player, very good. Technically, his mentals are good as well. He had a bit of a pass, obviously. He's been at West Brom, where Steve Clarke was, and that's how he ended up coming to Kilmarnock, I think, with the Steve Clarke connection. He then moved on to Celtic the season after, and then was loaned back to us, and then we signed him back again on a free transfer. So someone we could use, possibly. And here, Aaron Tishbola, the former Aston Villa player. He got signed for £5 million from Reading. Never really showed that off, that ability with that price tag. We loaned him. He was very solid for a couple of seasons here at Kilmarnock. We tried to sign him again when his contract ran out, but he ended up moving to Belgium, where his contract, they then cancelled the contract, moved to Portugal for a few games, and then eventually came back, and he said that he's very much enjoying being here at Kilmarnock. Now, you see, he's ranked actually as the 4th midfielder, but obviously Power and Dicker are very experienced as well, so they'll likely be reducing in their ability. You'd think, a wee bit of a regression with them being as old as they are. On to the wings, and if we're talking about experience, we can't look much further than talking about Chris Burke here, again, 36 years of age. He's been at Kilmarnock for quite a long time. Long-time Rangers and then Cardiff and Birmingham player down in England. Again, was very solid for those teams. He's an assist machine for Kilmarnock. His set pieces are really fantastic. And the right-hand side is normally Burke, or it's Rory McKenzie. But Rory McKenzie actually has been playing a lot on the left in real life. He doesn't appear to be able to do it so much here in Football Manager, but he certainly does in real life. And again, McKenzie's been here his whole career, brought up through the youth academy. Played over 200 league games for Kilmarnock. He's a very, very solid, reliable, maybe not first choice, looking at his ability here, but definitely decent in the squad. On the left-hand side, I say McKenzie sometimes plays there, but recently Greg Kiltie, who Kilmarnock fans will tell you they're very happy that he started to play this season a little bit more. He'd been out on loan at Morton and Dunfermline Impact over the last 2 seasons, but a lot of us were saying we would like him to actually be in the squad, and actually play games for Kilmarnock as opposed to for these other teams out on loan. So he's finally got back to the squad. He's a very solid left-sided player. You can see he's actually rated the highest out of anyone there. We've brought in some competition this season for him with Mitch Pinnock, who it says he's preferred on the right-hand side, but we normally have been playing him on the left-hand side. He can play across most of the midfield and up front, so a very good versatile player. Maybe not the highest quality, but a versatile backup across all positions. Great sort of player to have on your bench. And then up top, we have Nicky Kabamba, who has come to Kilmarnock for an undisclosed fee. This was the first time I think we'd actually paid for a player in quite a long time. You see, he played 9 games, scored 2 goals apparently last season, but he's a big physical presence. So far this season in real life, he's been very good, I think. Again, getting himself physical, very, very physical. You can see here his physical stats. He's good strength. He's 6'3". He gets in and about the defenders for the other teams, and you can see his best role there as a target man. And certainly having watched in real life, come on up playing, the pressing forward as well, he really does shut those players down. And likely to be striking partner. I've not decided yet, but we'll probably be playing 2 up front this year because Eamon Brophy, the Wolf, as he's nicknamed at Kilmarnock, has been very solid for Kilmarnock. You can see he's got nearly 10 goals. He's got 11 that season, but mainly around the 10 goal mark. But for a team who struggles like Killie do to score goals, that's actually not too bad. He's a very, very solid player. Well-rounded. Finishing at 14 is actually probably quite good compared to a lot in this squad. You see Kabamba there, his finishing's 13. Other attacking players like Burke has got finishing of 11, so 14 is actually quite good for Kilmarnock here. So yeah, now you've had a look at the team here at Kilmarnock. Let's have a look at the finances. And as I said, we're not hugely flush with money. The Scottish Premiership doesn't really have a lot of money in it anyway to begin with, apart from Celtic who get the Champions League money. But you see our overall balance here is less than £1 million, 900,000. But our transfer budget is actually a lot healthier than I thought it was going to be at £396,000. So it's something we'll possibly be able to bring some people in. I'm not too sure exactly what we're going to do with this. You can see the wage budget, we're kind of £1,000 under spending on the wages than we would be. So I've not quite decided what we're going to do here, but it's good to see we've got some money that we might be able to spend. And you never know. Maybe, just maybe, we'll get some other players in and some positions we might need it. You can see here in the reserves that I mentioned Jake Eastwood to come in on loan. He's currently in the reserves, but he might go into the first team and see if we can develop him slightly, even though it'll be developing for Sheffield United, not for us. Innes Cameron has been someone that players have talked about, that people have talked about for quite a long time to possibly break into the first team. He's actually on loan at our rivals, Ayr United, this season. It's not often that you see someone going from Kilmarnock to Ayr. That's quite a big rivalry down here on the west coast of Scotland. But yeah, he's moved there, so maybe we'll see what he does when he comes back. Apart from that, there's not a huge number of players that you'd be looking to introduce into the first team, possibly Connell and Devaney. And then looking at the under-18s, again, there's not a huge number of players that are looking to come through, which is fairly disappointing, I would say. Just quickly before we finish this introduction, and then next time you'll get to see who we've signed and we'll play the first game of the season. We'll have a look at the club vision. So the club are looking for us to play some counter-attacking football and to develop players using the club's youth system. That's mainly because we don't really have any money, so you have to develop the young players. So our ongoing 5-year plan is to work within the wage budget. Again, finances are a big problem for Kilmarnock, so we don't have a lot of money, so trying to work in that makes sense. They're looking for a mid-table finish, reach the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup and the Betfred Cup, which is the League Cup here in Scotland. And then, the end of next season, they're looking to work towards a top half finish and then maintain a top half. So basically, top 6 is eventually what this board are looking for, but I'm obviously looking to try to win this league eventually. The Scottish Premiership, for anyone who doesn't know, you play each of the other 11 teams 3 times, which is 33 games, and then the league splits in 2. The top 6 play in the championship split. I don't quite know how they describe it, but the top 6 play each other again, and the bottom 6 play each other again. First place will get into the Champions League. Second through third will get into to the Europa League. However, there's a possibility, just looking at this now, that we've had enough of a coefficient that you'll qualify 2 teams. Yes, look at that. There we go. 2 teams will qualify for the Champions League this year. For a long time, it had just been the one, but now we get the top 2 into the Champions League. The next 2 positions in the Europa League. The winner of the Cup will get into the Europa League, and if the winner of the Cup's already one of these 4th and 5th place, will get there. But yeah, that's a little introduction here to this series, which is going to be coming on this channel over the next few weeks, certainly through the beta, probably a little bit after, and then we'll move on to a more long-term save. But definitely, Kilmarnock Football Club series here on Football Manager 2021, starting on the beta. We'll see what we can do, and we'll be back in the next episode where the transfers, if there are any, may be talked about, and then we'll possibly play a game as well, see what happens there. Yeah. So it's nice seeing you. See you later on. Bye.